All right, we're in it. We'll, we'll take a minute to settle in here and let anybody's who's going to tune in file in. But we're back here to recap the first 3 nights of the college basketball season. I guess we'll kind of go through some of the games this weekend. Not a lot of great games overall, but some good stuff and some notable stuff. Man, it's frustrating these schedules. It's like some of these nights, we've gotten a few good games, and then like last night, there was just nothing. Tonight, there's not much of anything. Like, just give us some carrots in here, man. Give us something good. But not a ton of it so far. But we'll definitely talk about what is. You take over for a second. I'm gonna go retweet these links and stuff.
I know Monday had a pretty good lineup for a first day. You had the field of 68 invitational for mid majors, had some good mid major matchups. You had the games in Vegas with Arizona versus Florida and Villanova versus BYU. Those have probably been the highlights of the week so far. After that, it's just been a lot of bye games for bigger schools. There's been a couple other good mid-major matchups, but it's for the most part it's just been blowouts, a lot of bye games, even at the mid-major level. A lot of those schools are playing like the D2, just like random schools. It's just kind of usually how it is in college basketball, at least till we get the feast week.
Yeah.
Outside the occasional big out-of-conference game, which you've seen more of here in recent years, but usually those start to pick up in December. You kind of see a lot of them at the beginning of December, at the end of December, just based around the holidays. Honestly.
Oh, you froze for a
It's been
second.
a decent start. There's been a lot of notable stories so far too. Okay.
Yeah, you're good now. Well, it's yeah, I guess place to start would definitely be on Monday in Vegas. Obviously, you had Arizona and Florida, and you had Villanova and BYU, and those were two pretty good games, especially Arizona, Florida, and then decent game with BYU Villanova. Obviously, you had AJ Dybansta's debut there, so that was the story of that one. But man, the story of the week so far. Let's start off. Arizona 93, Florida 87. And like I said, the story of the week, without a doubt, after these first 3 days, is Koa Peat and the performance we saw from him against Florida, man. And we talked a lot about this freshman class coming into the year, and it was heralded and looked like it was going to be one of the best freshman classes we've ever seen coming into this year. Without a doubt, it still looks that way. But man, Koa Peat was kind of like down the list of this. Like, I don't think we mentioned Koa Peat's name once on our preview show, which is kind of like a dud on us. And yeah, here we are, like first 3 days of the season, and like he's the story. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Absolutely like dominating performance for Koa Peat against Florida to bring them to the win there. And Florida, I had saw the stat. I said I wasn't gonna fuck it up, and I'm gonna fuck it up already. But they were the first national champion to lose their first game in a while. And yeah, we'll get into Florida, and like there's still some questions there. With the Gators coming off the national championship. And I think mainly the story for Florida is that like and I said it, and it's why I didn't pick Florida to win the SEC. You and Matt still both picked Florida to win the SEC and go to the Final Four, and we'll see what happens. But Florida's guards are going to be a real question mark throughout this year. Obviously, they lost a ton off their national championship team with Walter Clayton, Will Richard going to the NBA, Denzel Aberdeen at Kentucky now, Elijah Martin in the NBA now. They lost pretty much every guard from that national championship team last year, and It's going to be an uphill battle for them to defend all year, like especially on the perimeter because they just don't have the guards to do it. And then Tommy Houck had a good game here, but I don't know. I'm still not sold on Tommy Houck at the three based off what we saw on Monday. He's just going to have a hard time defending those super athletic wings who can cut and get to the rim. He's going to have a hard time staying in front of those guys. Um, Obviously, at a disadvantage with speed, and he's playing kind of out of position there at the three. But he had a good game, 27 points for Tommy Houck on Monday. But yeah, like we said, Koa Peat's the story here. What a great performance that was, and Jaden Bradley with 27 as well. The Wildcats look really, really strong. Like that was obviously it's just one game. Like you take away what you can from it, but yeah, Arizona looked awesome game one. Like I don't like, and yeah, we didn't give Koa Pete obviously enough credit being one of the best freshmen in the nation coming into this year. So yeah, great win for Tommy Lloyd and the Wildcats. Start your season off night one, taking down the defending national champions. So yeah, like I said, that's definitely the biggest story so far. So I don't know what you got to watch that game, what your takeaways were, but I kind of throw it to you to give you the floor, what you thought of that game.
I think Arizona just came out of the gates with an offensive explosion with Koa Pete and Jaden Bradley, of course. Um, in the first half, it may look like Florida was still at their national championship pace, but they kind of cooled off. And like you said, I mean, Florida's losses are apparent in their backcourt. They don't have that go-to guard, at least not yet, like Walter Clayton Jr., and that's kind of what they lacked at the end of the game. They couldn't keep up with Arizona. I know they went out in the portal and got Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland, which I mean both of those guys could turn into something, but they're not there as a team yet. Alex Condon, he was a preseason first team All American, didn't really have that impressive of a game. Only put up 11 points and 8 rebounds. Thomas Howe played great, of course. It was just kind of a shootout game. Florida's bigs kind of played great, good game all around as a collective unit. But Koa Pete, of course, was the star of the show. As the game went on, the announcers got more and more excited every time they said his name. So I think that's probably the most exciting game of the week thus far, at least from the big time matchups we've had. So it'll be interesting to see if Arizona can keep it up and if Florida can find some offensive consistency outside of Condon and Howe.
It just goes to show like how great this freshman class is because we spent so much time in the offseason and on our preview show thinking about and talking about AJ Dybansta, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, and then like the next like kind of tier down from those guys. And still you still kind of had to go through like you had Mikael Brown Jr. and Nate Ament who were like kind of the next big names in that group. And you kind of had to go down that list in the offseason to get to Koa Pete's name. And he was like, he was in every ranking you look at, like he was ranked as a top 10 freshman in the country. But it just goes to show the depth of this freshman class. Him, being the story of these first few days of the season where he wasn't the freshman that was getting all the hype that was on everybody's radar. But man, he was able to steal the show against Florida. And so yeah, that was awesome for him. Uh, we had to talk about the Gators, and obviously, like we mentioned already, like we know they lost a ton of guards off last. They lost their entire backcourt off last year's team, and had to replace all those guys. And Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland were the guys who were expected to step up and uh, take control there. But like I don't know. It's just like we saw what Boogie Fland was at Arkansas last year, and like he's not a bad a bad player, but like I don't like Boogie Fland is not the guy who can step right into that Walter Clayton role and like catch those or take those dribble handoffs that they like to run and hit those circus 3-pointers that we obviously saw Walter Clayton knock down all season and in the tournament. Um, they love to run that dribble handoff stuff, and that was such a big part of their offense last year. And Boogie Fland is not the kind of shooter who's gonna knock down those looks. And it's like somebody's gonna uh like they tried to run it with Xavier Lee a lot in this game, and I'd like Xavier Lee was 3 for 11 from the 3-point line in this one. So not a great high percentage shooting night for them. And like they're just gonna have to figure it out because it's like when you don't have a guy who's like the creator like Walter Clayton is, who can, take those handoffs and knock down those circus shots, like you're gonna have to tailor the offense differently to make that work. And like right now, it doesn't appear that they have a shooter on that roster who's gonna be able to do that and be this guy. And then obviously, like the defense is going to be a huge question with Florida all year. Like I said, with Tommy Houck at the 3, um, playing out of position there and being big, like he's going to have a hard time keeping these strong athletic wings in front of him who are just quicker and faster than him and can cut and get to the basket and get open. And it's like he's going to have a hard time sliding out and guarding these guys and not letting them get to the basket. And so yeah, it was interesting to see how that worked. But like he's still like, he passed the test. He had 27 points in this game. I know it sounds like I'm hammering him a lot, but that was kind of my question coming into this season. And obviously we saw what Koa Peat was able to do. And I still uh question obviously like getting in the paint against Florida, like you're gonna have those bigs there with Condon and Chinyelu in there and Micah Hanlogden coming back. Um, like they're gonna have the size advantage against everybody they play, but like, do they have the defensive ability to go out and guard the perimeter and um, keep these guys at arm's length? And that's gonna be a question all year. But I feel like over bets are gonna be a good bet in Florida games all year. And yeah, like I said, on offense, they're gonna have to figure it out, and somebody's gonna have to be able to step up. And you're not gonna replace Walter Clayton Jr. and the production that he had, but it's not going to be one guy. It's going to have to be a group effort from them to find somebody who can get those looks. And you're just going to have to call a different offense
Mhm.
because you can't just run dribble handoffs over and over and create these 3-point looks and that Walter Clayton would knock down when you don't have a shooter of with that ability on your team. So like when that's the case, then you need to go back to the drawing board and play more to these guys' strength um and what they have in their backcourt. And it's going to be a way different look than what last year's team was.
It kind of reminds me of when Carson Edwards left Purdue. Like we had to change our offense significantly because you don't have that insane shooter. Obviously, Florida has better front courts than that Purdue team did this year after that. But just like Florida's going to have to evolve their offense as the year goes on and just kind of find what works and what doesn't. And maybe they just had unfriendly rims. But if it becomes a trend, Florida may be in trouble. We'll see down the stretch.
Yeah. I mean, Florida's still going to be
Yeah.
a really good team,
Yeah.
like for what it's worth. Like, I know I'm kind of dogging them and their defense and how they're trying to play here, but I'm grading that on the scale of what they're expected to be, and that's a national championship contender, like one of the best teams in the country. And like I don't know, it's going to be tough for them to replicate that with this team as structured. Like they're still going to be a really good team. Like they're still like I'll comfortably say today, like they're going to finish top 5 in the SEC, and like they're not going to have any problems. Like they're going to be in the mix. Like Todd Golden's a great coach. Like they're going to evolve as a team and start to figure this thing out. But yeah, definitely some questions to be asked after night one. But yeah, like we said, like not to spend too much time on Florida because Koa Peat's without a doubt the story here, and he deserves his flowers because what an incredible debut that was for him, and excited to see what he can do going forward. Anything
I,
from you?
I don't have much else to say about that game.
All right. Next game, if I can get the damn thing pulled up. I'm going to talk about BYU and Villanova because that was definitely the next biggest game of Monday night and AJ Dybansta's debut. But Villanova was able to keep this, and this was Kevin Willard's coaching debut for Nova, and yeah, it was a competitive game. I don't know, I never like watching this game. Like I didn't really have any doubts that this game was going to go BYU's way. Like BYU was the better team in this game throughout, and yeah, like not surprising, but I mean, like I said in our predictions, like I think Villanova is going to be a tournament team this year, and Kevin Willard's a great coach, and he was able to show that um, on night one against a really good team. Like they held their own, but AJ Dybansta comes out, drops 21 points, 6 rebounds. Um, he was everything he was billed to be in game one. Like he passed the test. Um, he was awesome. Um, and they had a tough shooting night. Like Rob Wright and Richie Saunders didn't shoot it well for BYU. And it was great. Like in his first game, like AJ Dybansta, like even with really good players on this team who didn't have their best games, like AJ Dybansta was without a doubt the best player on the floor in this game, and you saw that, and he's going to be a fun player to keep up with this year. I guess if I have one regret, I might have been a little too low on Arizona and BYU in my preseason predictions. Like I said, I know we're basing this all off one game, but man, like yeah, AJ Dybansta was awesome. I'd like it'll be a battle to see who the freshman of the year, national player of the year is, and obviously like we've talked about that ad nauseum. But like when we talk about how these skill sets translate and stuff, like there's not a doubt in my mind that like AJ Dybansta is going to be the number one pick. Uh, and I mean, you just watch this guy, and it's like that guy's an NBA player. Like I think AJ Dybansta is ready to play in the NBA right now, and like he's going to go to the NBA and he's going to lead the league in scoring within his first few years. Dude's just, I mean, he can make a shot from anywhere. He's a creator. Um, you know, uh, yeah, this was his game. It was an awesome debut for him, and with all the hype, he most certainly delivered in this one. But 71-66 was the score. BYU was able to get it done in this one, so yeah, they're going to need Richie Saunders and Rob Wright to step up and play a little better than they did on Monday night. But they played good enough on Monday night, and it was enough to get the win over Villanova. And AJ Dybansta was awesome. So Kevin Young's got a fucking rock solid team in Provo this year, and they're going to be a contender in the Big 12. And uh, so yeah, what do you think of BYU and AJ Dybansta's debut in the game against Villanova?
I know I kind of tuned in and out of this one, but AJ Dybansta, of course, looked like the number one pick for this upcoming draft. My concern with BYU, I'd say, is obviously their defense is going to be a struggle all year, especially when they get against teams with more offensive firepower than Villanova. You kind of saw that in the NCAA tournament last year. Of course, they have AJ Dybansta now, but just kind of balancing. I think they'll be a good team. I don't know if they are a Big 12 title contender, especially with Houston and Texas Tech up there, and Kansas, among others. I think they're going to be one of those teams that are going to be top 25 all year, but they're just going to have a lot of wild swings up and down. And obviously it was a good game, but I think BYU at this point just has more offensive firepower than Villanova.
Yeah, I mean, but For Nova to keep this game as close as they did against a talented team like
Yeah,
BYU, and they got some brutal shooting performances in this one. Like um, Matt Hodge and Tyler Perkins did not shoot it well at all in this one. Um, Matt Hodge is 3 for 11, 1 for 7 from three, 7 points. Tyler Perkins 3 for 10, 1 for 6 from three, 8 points. Bryce Lindsey kept him in this one. He dropped 22 points, 5 for 9 from three. Um, so he kept him alive in this one. But I mean, I still walked away from this game, even though they had a poor shooting night. Like Kevin Willard definitely has a really good team in year one at Villanova. Um, I was a lot higher on Villanova coming into this season than nationally it seemed like the perception of them was. But I walked away from this one like they passed the test to me. Like they looked completely competent and held their own uh against a really good BYU team that I think is going to be a top 10 team in the country this year and one of the top teams in the Big 12. And yeah, I don't know. I thought if you're a Nova fan, like obviously you want to win the game, but you had to walk away from that one, like with what the expectations were coming in this year and what you expected from that team. Um, playing BYU and playing like the number one touted freshman in the country coming in, and um, what's going to be a really good, what's going to be a really good BYU team. And Villanova was like looked more than capable in this game and was able to hold their own and keep this one close. But BYU was able to keep this at arm's length. Like I said, it's close on the scoreboard, but like the outcome in here was never really in doubt that BYU was going to be able to take care of business here. But I still, even though, like I said, it was a poor shooting performance, I like what I saw from Villanova and Kevin Willard in their debut. And I think they're going to be a fine team this year and should be a tournament team and solid team in the Big East. Yeah, have to feel good if you're a Nova fan coming out of this one, even with the loss. Shoot it a little better. You're going to be fine. You're going to win some games. Got anything on Nova?
I think we've covered it about as much as we can.
All right. Also on Monday we had we definitely have to talk about and give our flowers to the Field of 68 tip off marathon of sorts that they were able to run. Some great games there. I cannot get these scores to keep fucking pulling up. This is driving me fucking bonkers. Hold on. This is All right. Fucking pieces. All right. First game of the day was Queens and Winthrop. And did you get up to watch that one? Or
I mean, I was at work. I kind of like turned it on a little bit and was like in and out, following the score.
So yeah, Winthrop's able to get a 81-74 win there. And then you had St. Bonaventure and Bradley. St. Bonaventure is able to get a 69-63 win. And then where else did you have? You had Omaha and Murray State was the next one a little later. They went to Sioux Falls. I think, what was it? They had 3 in South Carolina and then they had 3 in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I
And
think so, yeah.
they went out to Sioux Falls. Murray State got an 85-77 win over Omaha. Oh my God, I cannot get these scores to stay up. I'm doing my best here. Yeah, if I miss one of these games, I'm just gonna have to take the L on it because I'm trying to.
Drake versus Northern Arizona was the next one.
Yep. Here, hold on. I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone. I'll be off the screen for a second, but I'm talking, so whatever. This will be a lot easier. Let me go through Monday. Work. All right. Yep. We got Queens and Winthrop, Bradley and St. Bonaventure, Omaha, Murray State, Drake and Northern Arizona. Northern Arizona, by the way, was projected to not be great, and they looked really good in this game. Granted, after what Drake did tonight, I don't know how your expectations adjust on them, but Drake looked great in this one. Or Northern Arizona looked great in this one. Drake gets the win.
Shout out
Um,
Zach Davidson with 29 points and 9 rebounds.
High Point is a team that's definitely
Yeah,
worth mentioning. High Point played Furman and ran him out of the gym, and High Point looked awesome in this game. Uh, yeah, they look like a team that, I mean, they shot 57 threes in this game, which is crazy, but went 20, went, uh, or they did not shoot 57 threes. I knew that sounded crazy. They shot 26. I was like, I was looking at the box score. I was like, they did not shoot 57 threes. Like that's
bringing
not even like, I was
bringing
like, what are
back
we talking about? I was
Loyola
like,
Marymount from the 90s.
what am I looking at? They did not shoot 57 threes. Yeah, I looked at that wrong. But yeah, the High Point looked, I mean, same High Point as we saw from last year, even though Alan Huss is gone, man. Like they're fast and they push the tempo and they just went in and ran firm and clear out of the gym. So great performance by High Point. Like they have to feel good coming out of that one. What'd you say?
I was going to say High Point, I was going to talk about them, but they have an insane NIL budget for their basketball team for a mid-major school. Like the amount they paid for their team, like they are going to be a team to be reckoned with come March.
Yeah, without
They're,
a doubt. I mean, they
yeah,
were a popular upset pick last year in the
there was
tournament.
there's a talk. There's talk. The announcers on the field of 68 said they may be a potential at-large team out of the Big South if they don't win the Big
I
South
mean,
tournament.
ooh, they better run the table if they're
Yeah,
going to get at
yeah.
large out of the Big South. I don't even. That would take a lot. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but um, we'll see. I guess. Um, and then you had South Dakota State and Merrimack. South Dakota State picked up the win. Um, and was that all the field of 68 games? It
Yeah, I
might have
think that
been.
was the last one.
But yeah, that was awesome, man. Shout out to the field of 68 for pulling that off, man. Like what they've been able to grow as a brand is fucking awesome and so great for college basketball to keep up with and to be able to pull this off. Great stuff. And Goodman was saying on the broadcast that like they're looking at trying to bring back the 24-hour marathon next year, which I know we would be all in favor of because I mean, we were reminiscing about that last week on here, and yeah, and you mentioned on the broadcast that's kind of a goal of theirs to bring back. So if they're able to bring back the 24-hour tip off marathon, bravo! And shout out to the schools too for showing up and like playing like 7 a.m. tip off like game one of the season. That's that's tough. Like for those guys, like they're like to play a game at 7 a.m. and like they like all the players on both teams, man, like they had energy for that game. Like the crowd was into it. Like I couldn't believe how many people were there for a 7 a.m. tip off game and teams both had a lot of energy. They were like very fun games to watch. So so yeah, shout out to all the teams involved there and teams that got wins and how fun those games were, man. That was awesome. That was good stuff.
I know. Just thinking about it, I was watching G-Fed's video. He was at a couple of the South Carolina games. He was interviewing Goodman, and Goodman said something about bringing back 24 hours tip off. I know that in the past that was a big thing. In fact, Steve Forbes' first game at ETSU was like a 7 a.m. game against Green Bay. And that was pretty awesome. But yeah, having the games from 8 a.m. all the way up to 10 o'clock at night, just kind of a fun experience, a way to get the first day magic of college basketball back. Because typically you don't see a lot of great matchups on the first day. It's a lot of the bigger schools having a bye game or vice versa. You don't get to see some of these prime mid-major matchups, and all of them are pretty close outside of High Point and Furman. So Um, they're all good games to just sit down and watch. I mean, it was all free to stream on YouTube. So
Yeah, it was all like right
yeah.
there on YouTube.
Mhm.
Like the games were not like hard to find at all. So it's like if you're a sports fan, like you're at work or you're chilling at the house on Monday, like trying to figure out what to do, like those games were great to just like pop on like right there on YouTube and put on. Like they were great watches. Yeah, they pulled off a hell of an event there. Just shout out to Jeff and Rob and the Field of 68 guys, man. Like what an awesome event that was.
I do have to mention one of the funnier stories from Monday. There was a fake tweet that said Woj got ejected from
Uh,
the St. Bonaventure game.
yeah, they said he was forcibly removed. I don't know. Yeah, that one got me. I saw it. I was like, oh shit. Like, Woj getting after it. And then Goodman was like, this is not
I,
true. Like, and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, how did I really think that was
I
real?
mean, I could see it being in the realm of possibility. Woj has been a pretty heated guy on Twitter before, but
Yeah.
I don't think the first game of the season is that time.
Yeah. Um, then obviously Monday of all the bye games, the one I don't really want to talk about it, but I have to mention is Auburn's 95-90 overtime win over
Yeah,
Bethune Cookman. Um,
that was
man,
a
that
wild
was
game.
fucking frustrating as hell, man. That was, um, I gotta come on here and talk about it honestly and like give my honest opinions of it. And it's like, luckily Auburn looked better tonight and took care of business against Merrimack, and but like that first game left a lot to be concerned about and a lot to be desired because just so many issues in that game. They like they weren't following guys on screens and were giving Bethune wide open threes left and right, and they'd go down on offense, and it just there's like no offensive game plan. Like it didn't even seem like they were running sets or anything. Like they were just trying to ISO ball it with Pettiford and Keyshawn Hall, and um, Bethune was defending everything Auburn tried to do well. Um, Bethune gave them everything they could handle, and like right when it seemed like Auburn had the game won, then we foul them on a half court shot.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was
eh,
that was so dumb.
why are you, dude? The
That
same
was
thing happened today before halftime. It was a half court heave, and they fouled him again. Like they did the same shit today.
yeah,
So it's just like fundamental stuff, man. Like there's no reason that you even need to contest that shot.
that's
Like
just
if
dumb.
you let him have that shot, and like if they knock it down, like you tip your hat to him. But like there's like no reason you're even defending that shot. And like, granted, I've never seen that called on a half court heave like that. But still, it's like don't even put yourself in that
Yeah,
position
don't
for that to.
don't even make contact. Like maybe throw your arms up, but don't like give him a reason to call a foul. Like don't body him. Like give him
Yeah,
space to get it off, but don't freaking hit him in the head or whatever he was
yeah,
doing
but
in that. I know. Just thinking about it, like I think you saw the inexperience of Stephen Freeman or Stephen Pearl as a head coach um, against a guy that's coached in the NBA
yeah,
at Bethune Cookman. I think that's just what that was boiled down to. And plus, Auburn lost so much of their production from last year. It's a new team, still learning to play in game with each other.
yeah. And yeah, you're 100% right. Like Steven was just out coached in that game,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
he'd probably say as much himself. It was a tough. The free throws were 38-9 for Auburn, and it's like if you have that big of a free throw advantage, like there's no reason for that game to even be as close and competitive as it was. And it was a frustrating performance. Makes you want to freaking rip your hair out, but um, they got it done, thankfully. Because if they didn't get it done there, man, I don't know what the hell I would have come on here and said if we show up first game with Stephen Bear, like I really wish Matt was here to talk about it tonight because Matt would like. He was really concerned about this with Stephen Pearl and made it clear when we hopped on and talked about it after Bruce retired, and it was yeah, it was just just a lot of simple mistakes Auburn made in this
Mhm.
game, and like just fundamental stuff on defense, like not following a guy off a screen, like not getting in there, getting a hand on guys, and just giving them open looks from three. And like Tahad Pettiford is like, he would go down and try to ISO, but the problem was like he was going to his right and going towards the sideline like every single time. And they would trap him and they forced I don't know how many turnovers because he was just like he was doing the same thing like every freaking time. And like he did not have a great game in this one. Luckily, Keyshawn Hall did have a great game in this one and was really the only reason Auburn won. But really just escaped what could have been a freaking disaster there in Stephen Pearl's debut. But he gets the win. They got the win tonight. They're 2-0. So we'll live to fight another day. But I mean, that's like we play Houston in 11 days. So
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
got to figure some things out quick because like Auburn has a brutal non-conference schedule. I mean, we got Houston, then we got Players Era with Michigan and Oregon there, and whoever else we end up playing in Vegas, and then they go to Tucson to play Arizona, and we saw how good Arizona looked, and then
Hmm.
obviously we're going to Indianapolis to play Purdue. Um, so quite the non-conference gauntlet for Auburn coming up, and like, uh, so yeah, they better get it figured out quick. Oh, and we got NC State and then the SEC ACC challenge too. Almost forgot to even mention that one.
I, and really, the thing that's going to hurt Auburn more than anything is just their lack of uh, defensive prowess, especially in the front court. The question for Auburn isn't whether they'll score; it's going to be can they stop anybody, and I think that's going to be have something Stephen Pearl's going to have to work on all year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Stephen Pearl's a defensive coach. Like
Mhm.
that's his MO. So um hopefully the defense can improve throughout this season and get better. Obviously, like he's got the ability to do it. Um but yeah, left a lot to be desired against Bethune Cookman, but kind of eased some of the concern taking care of business against Merrimack tonight and
Mhm.
not fucking around and letting them keep that one close. So but so yeah, good win tonight. A win, but I would definitely wouldn't call it a good win on Monday against Bethune Cookman. Also Monday we had the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. The MAC was picked up the win there with 9 victories. Um, so yeah, that was fun. That MAC Sunbelt Challenge usually happens during conference play, but they ended up doing it the first night of the season this year. Got it done a little bit earlier. Those games are usually right smack in the middle of conference play. So those were some fun games to tune into as well. Um, Shout out to the MAC for getting the job done and winning that little tournament. Um, yeah. Anything else from Monday you wanted to bring up?
I was going to mention some of the crazier games. IU Indy versus Ohio State. Ohio
Shit.
State may be in trouble. That uh, the final score was 118 to 103, I think.
Here, you take the floor for a second. I gotta go piss. You
Yeah,
talk about that game.
let's find the score. Final score.
It was 118, 110, I think.
118, 102.
Okay.
Just an insane score. Looks like Ohio State's gonna take the approach of all firepower, no defense. But shout out to IU Indy. They may be a team to watch this year. They play total chaos ball, like that D2 style chaos ball. Um, so yeah, and then another Big Ten team that struggled. Penn State barely beat Fairfield, so they may be in trouble as well. Let me find. There's some other crazy moments. Who was it? Not top 25.
Jesus, that was
That's fun.
just a fucking terrible football game. My God,
Yeah,
that was
glad
about
I
damn near unwatchable. I
I
didn't
didn't
watch a
watch.
lot of it. But
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I watched a single second other than like walking into my house.
Broncos just won 10-7. Great stuff there. Yeah, that was a
Let's see.
brutal watch.
Oh yeah. One thing we have to mention: the wildest upset of the night. There's a couple of upsets, but D2 Hawaii Pacific over Boise State.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that was the
that
second. We've had two now D2 over D1 upsets this
mhm.
week. Yeah, that's a
I,
brutal loss for Boise State because I mean they're a team in the Mountain West that goes into the season with at large hopes, and it's like I asked Matt, like I don't know if you know, like how does that even count in the quadrant system if you lose to a D2 team? Is that just quad four, or like how do they even count
I
that?
mean, I don't even know if it counts, to be honest. Like, it may just be a net
It's got to
chalked
count for
up. I don't
something.
know.
I need to go fill my
Yeah,
water up real quick too.
let me find. Let's pull up Mountain West. Let's find Mountain West.
But yeah, Hawaii Pacific gets it done. Their Twitter account on Twitter, doing a great
Yeah.
job. But their Twitter account has been hilarious since it ended. Um, yeah, they've had some
what's
bangers.
What's so funny to me is there's a kid from ETSU that he transferred to Hawaii Pacific a few
Really,
years back. Yeah, it's funny. That was like his grad year was in Hawaii.
I mean, not a bad way to end your
Yeah,
college
yeah,
career.
yeah,
Go out to Hawaii, play
yeah.
some hoops.
Mhm.
I can't blame him. Sounds pretty awesome to me.
Another big upset. Well, it wouldn't be a big upset, but Florida Atlantic beat Boston College. He might be the first Power Five coach fired this year. I don't know. Power
Um,
Six.
all right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about going to Tuesday. We'll talk about Duke and Texas. Cam Boozer's debut, obviously, and Sean Miller's debut at Texas. Texas played some really good defense here, and that's probably going to be a story throughout the year. But damn, they couldn't buy a bucket. Um, that was the story of that one. Um, but yeah, and Cam Boozer like really struggled in the first half. He was scoreless at halftime. I think 0 for 8 from the field. He did not look good, but he got it together in the second half for sure, and ended up only 3 for 12 from the field, but was able to get to the line and ended up with 15 points, 13 rebounds. So made the debut look a little bit better, and turned it around in the second half. But not the debut he was looking for. But Isaiah Evans was definitely the story of this game for Duke. Um, he had 23 points, 4 3-pointers. Isaiah Evans looked awesome, and he was not a key piece of last year's team, but he would come off the bench and give them a spark at times, but like did not play a key role on last year's team. But they're going to expect him to really step up and be that guy to make some big shots this year, and he did it here against Texas. Isaiah Evans looked awesome, and yeah, like I said, Texas defended really well in this game. Like
Mhm.
they did everything they could do, but Texas just and Sean Miller they could not find a bucket for him in his debut at Texas. So Duke takes care of business in the Dickie V Classic and takes down the Longhorns. And my God, that court was awful. That court was terrible, man. That made the game tough to watch, man. When they fuck up these courts so bad, sometimes it's hard
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
eyes. But yeah, win for Duke. Cam Boozer struggles a little bit, but able to put together a decent debut in the second half, and Duke wins 75-60 against the Longhorns. So, what's your takeaways on Duke, on Texas? Anything with that game?
Duke Duke looked good, but I think Texas is just like nothing really has changed for them as a program. They play that same style of ball, like not much offense, just kind of grinding out games. What it was under Chris Beard, and then into Gustavo Fring with Rodney Terry. Just kind of like,
Did you watch Texas play last year? Because they couldn't defend anybody last year.
well, that's why he got the axe, obviously.
Yeah.
Last year was just Trey Johnson's show, and then
Yeah, I was about to say they looked a lot better on defense. I would say I don't really agree with that assessment, but
find it funny. Cam Heide transferred to Texas and did nothing for him against Duke. Barely played.
yeah, I mean they couldn't. What they in this game?
Texas shot 32% from the field and 29% from three.
That'll do it. Yeah, not, but yeah, like I said, they looked really good on defense, and they definitely contained Cam Boozer in the first half, and I think it's just a lot of pressure on Cam Boozer to perform and be a superstar this year. And I mean, he's going to do it. He already got a double-double in his first game, and I mean, he's going to be a double-double machine. I think we're probably looking at 30-plus double-doubles for Cam Boozer this year, at least. He can go. He's going to be awesome for him. I'm not concerned about him at all, or I'm not reading too much into his struggles in the first half here and throughout the game. Like, I think you just kind of throw it in the trash. Like, he's going to be an awesome player. Like, they were able to win without him. But I think Isaiah Evans is definitely going to be one of the most important, if not the most important player on this team for Duke this year, because he's going to be that guard that they're looking to get them big buckets and push the pace on offense, and he's going to have to really step up into that role. And John Shire's kind of still running like an old school program here of homegrown guys, and that's what they're expecting Isaiah Evans to be. Like, he didn't play a big role last year, but he's going to be a super important player for them this year. And he was definitely the motor for him in this game, and was a huge part in them getting the job done here.
Yep, Duke played a good game. First game of the season.
So yeah, Duke 75, Texas 60. What else Tuesday? Like I said, I don't feel like we're gonna be on here too long, because this is not a ton of stories to talk about, and I think we definitely covered all the big ones of the week thus far.
My Purdue Boilermakers took care of business without TKR against Evansville.
Yeah.
Fletcher Lawyer had a career night from three, had 30 points. Jack Benner looked good. He looked pretty good starting in place of TKR. Hit 3 threes, scored 11 points. Big men were serviceable.
Kentucky got a win against Nichols, but Kentucky looked weird on all I didn't expect Kentucky to come out as slow and methodical as they were, and shots weren't really falling for them. Kind of a weird performance there for Kentucky, but that's going to be, obviously they were one of my Final Four picks, and they're my SEC pick. They're going to be a really good team this year. And Oregon survived a late one against Hawaii. At home in Eugene, Hawaii gave them everything they could handle, and Oregon got a 60-59 win over Hawaii. So that's a team that comes into the year with some decent expectations that almost stumbled in their first game, but they were able to survive and get it done. The Ducks were. So, other than that, Tuesday, other than Duke, Texas, pretty quiet. Wednesday, I'm trying to think of when. Yesterday was a bunch of nothing.
I know one game from Monday that we forgot to mention. New Orleans upset TCU.
Oh, yep. Good call.
That was one of the biggest upsets of the week so far. And then another one of the Mountain West struggles. UT Martin beat UNLV in Vegas? I think it may have been.
I think it was
Probably
in
was.
Vegas.
Yeah, it was in Vegas.
Man.
Let's see. Let me
What the
look
fuck
down
is
through here.
it? Was in Vegas, if that's what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah.
It was definitely in Vegas.
Yeah, there wasn't much last night other than Indiana's first game with Darian DeVries. And then Creighton took care of South Dakota. Tonight, Auburn played again. There's West Virginia played. It was close with Campbell.
What was the score of that one?
It was. Let me find it. 73-65.
Denver's hanging around with Washington right now. I'm actually about to put that game on as we speak. If I can find the remote.
The game of the night in the mid-major ranks was probably Robert Morris and Drake in overtime. 81-79.
Did you happen to see the score of Maryland Eastern Shore and Georgia yesterday?
It was
It looked like a women's basketball score.
It was like 92 to
94 to 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Georgia kicked ass there against Maryland Eastern Shore. I actually watched a little bit of the first half of that one because there's not a lot better on last night. Let's see. Anything else worth you mentioned Mountain West struggles. South Carolina Upstate got an upset win over Fresno State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling this game up on my TV. That's why I'm stalling here. This Washington Denver game. Yep. Yeah, I think that's about all for games that have already happened. I don't think there's anything else worth mentioning.
I do have one thing I want to pull up, like the craziest highlight of the week. I don't know what level it was at, but there was a guy that faked an injury on Monday night. And like the whole crowd, and the announcers were like making fun of him. I'll have to find it. Let me find it. Let me go on Twitter. Find the guy that faked the injury.
Yeah, I know you mentioned this in the group chat. Oh, we didn't even talk about in the Auburn Bethune Cookman game. We got a Bethune Cookman technical foul because the guy was wearing the wrong jersey. My first time seeing that. That was crazy. I was just like, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how long that's been a rule. I've never seen anything like that, but that was hilarious. I'm about to fucking throw my Xbox controller through the TV. I'm trying to pull these scores up. I need to get a damn computer. It'll make this 1,000 times easier. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm about to give up. Did you pull it up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, let's watch this.
All over and his pace on the run out, and he misses the dunk, and he's man been injured on that last play. Might have been cramping up.
The guy shouting my way.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. That's incredible.
He faked the injury. Lord.
Just the whole clip, like the announcers and the crowd.
Fuck. Sound. Hold on. Keep it going. I'll rejoin.
Okay,
My thing's doing the shit again.
What a wild clip. So, yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights of the week, for funniest clip at least. But yeah, there is. I don't know. There's not many great games. Well, there's a lot more games tomorrow night than there have been Wednesday.
No,
And
that's what I was
Thursday.
gonna say. Like, we'll get into previewing the weekend because we
Yeah.
got some good. Obviously, tomorrow night the big ticket headliner game that we'll all be tuned into is Kansas and North
Mhm.
Carolina, in the Dean Dome. Uh, that's gonna be a great game. We get to see we get to see Darren Peterson and big time game for the first time. Um, that's going to be a great one. I think we're all excited for that. North Carolina is a 1.5 point favorite in that one. Um, so yeah, excited to see what Darren Peterson's going to do, and then North Carolina with a really expensive roster that we kind of talked about this on our preview show that there's a lot of money on that North Carolina roster. We don't know if the talent exactly equates to how much money is in that roster, but um, they get a big test tomorrow night, and we're going to find out where they're at. But yeah, everybody's excited to watch Darren Peterson tomorrow. That's going to be 7 Eastern, 6 Central tomorrow. Kansas, North Carolina. What do you think about that one?
I mean, that'll be obviously a big game. Two blue bloods going at it. UNC looked good in their first game, in their first bye game of the year. Caleb Wilson looked good, and then you got Kansas with all their youth and talent. So it'll be good to see who comes out on top of that one.
I'll let you make if you got any predictions, but I'll say take the over, and I think Carolina wins a close one and defends home court.
I'm gonna say, I would say, yeah, it'll be like 70-66 or something like that.
Well, that definitely wouldn't. The over is 156 and a half. So
I don't know if the over's gonna hit.
I'm taking the over in that one.
I think
But yeah.
Kansas. I think Kansas gets a close one.
All right, so you're on Kansas tomorrow. I'm on Carolina, so we'll find out there. And then Saturday, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, we got Alabama and St. John's. Going to be a big test in this one. Teams with a lot of questions, and St. John's in particular coming into the year with some real national championship, national contender hype. This is in the Garden for St. John's. Bama's making the trip up there. So, yeah, this should be a really fun game. And curious to see what role Ian Jackson's. I didn't see St. John's first bye game, whoever they played, but what role is Ian Jackson going to play? Because we heard the stuff from Patino and camp about him not playing point guard and them shifting him around. So going to be interesting to see what they do with him. But yeah, we got Zuby Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins and Ian Jackson. A lot of talent on the St. John's team, and then Bama, obviously, like coming in this year, bringing LeBaron Philon back, that was big for them. Coming into the year with a decent amount of hype, like always, because Nate Oates is the best coach of all time, apparently. So we'll find out. But I like the Johnnies here in the Garden. I think St. John's -6.5 is the current line. I like St. John's to cover that, and I'll take the over 168.5 in this game. But the Johnnies versus the Tide, that's going to be a fun one. Looking forward to watching that one early on Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be a big game. I think St. John's takes it as well. Alabama, I mean, they have talent, but I don't know if they're as talented as past Alabama teams. Outside of Philon.
Then got some other good games Saturday. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. John Calipari brings Arkansas on the road into the Breslin Center to take on Michigan State. That's going to be a fun one. Top 25 matchup. Cool non-conference matchup, like especially playing a true road game and not a neutral site. Like I love non-conference games that are like true like road environments for teams, like matchups we don't get to see, like Arkansas on the road at the Breslin Center. That's going to be awesome. Michigan's a 1.5 point favorite here. Total is, what does that say? 155.5. I don't know. I kind of like the Hogs in this one. Nah,
I can't
at
pick
Michigan
against
State. Yeah. Who are you taking?
that. That's my thoughts. Michigan State at Breslin Center, of course. They always get the calls there. Like it's it's pretty hard to win there. Like in general.
Um, Fuck it. I'll split with you on this one. I'll say Arkansas goes on the road and gets a
Mhm,
win.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
It'll be a close one though. Looking forward to
mhm,
that one. And then we got Saturday night, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. We got Gonzaga versus Oklahoma.
mhm.
That'll be a good one. This is in the kennel. Gonzaga's an 11.5 point favorite. Total 162.5. Yeah, I like the Zags in this one in the kennel. I think they'll take care of business. I think Oklahoma will cover that 11.5 though. That's a lot of points.
Mhm.
I think Oklahoma has a decent team. Like they'll be a turn. I think Oklahoma will be a tournament team this year. Um, but obviously we know like shout out to Oklahoma for not being scared to actually go play a game in the kennel. Because we know that's usually what happens. Teams don't like to go play there, and they'll play those games in Seattle or wherever, and will dodge actually playing in the kennel. So
Mhm.
shout out to Oklahoma for having the balls to do that. But I think this will go over, and I like Gonzaga to win, but I think Oklahoma will cover. What you think?
I think Gonzaga wins. I don't think Oklahoma has the talent to keep up with Gonzaga.
Um, and then I guess the last game to talk about, because I think we're either going to do another show Monday night or I guess Monday night because you said you're not
Yeah.
off Tuesday. So yeah, we'll do Monday night. But we got Iowa State and Mississippi State in Sioux Falls on no line out for that game yet. Obviously, it's a little while away, and those teams will play before then. But yeah, that'll be a fun one. Yeah, I'll go to Iowa State in that one. Um, we'll see. We'll
On
see what the
Sunday,
spread is.
there's a
Which,
couple big matchups.
who we got
Uh,
Sunday?
Indiana Marquette and Washington Baylor.
All right.
Those
Yeah, I'm
are
watching
some solid match.
Washington right now. Denver's hanging around with them. Indiana Marquette, that'll be a fun game.
Mhm.
What's the spread on that one? I didn't see that one on my screen. Is there a spread out for that one?
It is. I don't. I'm not sure. Let me click on it. Is there a spread out yet? I don't know if there's a spread out for it.
Here, I'll try to pull this up on ESPN real quick.
Doesn't
If I
say
can get this to
anything.
work. Uh, this is fantastic. Hold on, let me just check on my phone. You're taking too long.
It
Um,
has Indiana's 70% favorites.
yeah, there's no spread on this one yet.
Yeah, there's no spread.
Where's this game at?
It is at
Oh, it's
the
at the
United
United
Center.
Center.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be a fun one. Um, I'm sure that'll be a great crowd. Like two big fan bases in the Midwest there, and kind of a
Mhm.
central location. Like I'm guessing the United Center is gonna be packed out for that one. Um, but yeah, Marquette. Man, I was watching Marquette a little bit the other night. Like they can score the shit out of the ball, man. But their defense is gonna be a question. Let me check something real quick before we wrap up. Um, yeah, Marquette's 2-0 right now. They beat Albany and Southern. Um, what was I looking for? Um, God damn it. Everything's being a pain in my ass tonight. Okay, yeah, I knew Chase Ross had a big game. I was just trying to get his stat line. He had 23, 6, and 6 the other night. I mentioned his name in our preview show. I think he's kind of stepping into that Cam Jones role for Marquette, and he's going to be a fun player to watch this year. And I said on there, I think he's a dark horse for Big East Player of the Year. So excited to watch him. But yeah, I'll take Marquette over Indiana on that one. I think Marquette's probably a little bit ahead of where Indiana's at right now. So I know we don't have a spread there yet, but I'll take Marquette in that one. And whatever comes out with the total, I'll go with the over in it too. I think I've picked
Marquette,
over on every game I've mentioned today. But
I think Marquette wins in that one. Indiana, I think they have decent offense, but I don't know if defensively they're going to be a team to watch. I think their defense is going to struggle, especially against a team like Marquette. It's very guard heavy.
Yeah. Well, anything else before we wrap this thing up? Like I said, I mean, it's a shorter show than usual, but not a ton of great games to cover, but at least wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about the first few nights and talk a little bit about the games coming up. Going to be a great weekend of games, and we'll have a lot more to talk about come Monday night than we had tonight. But you got anything else before we wrap it up?
I do have one more thing. The Purdue and Tennessee announced this weekend they're going to have a home-and-home series in 2026 and 2027. So the rivalry is renewed.
The rivalry.
Social media will be – the social media feud will be fun.
Oh, that'll be fun next year when that happens. But
yeah.
But yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Like I said, a little bit of an abbreviated show. We didn't have Matt tonight, but yeah, I just wanted to come in here and talk a little bit about the first few nights of the season and some of the takeaways. But yeah, looking forward to a great weekend of games, and we'll be back Monday night to chat about it and chat about what's coming up next week. And so on, we're here. The season's here, man. Wish we had some better games this week, but we'll have some good games this weekend to make up for it.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be college basketball on, so that's a win in itself. So
yeah, we'll take it. I've just been sitting here watching some of these fucking bye games the last couple of nights, and being like, you know what? College basketball's on my TV. I'm happy. Well, yeah, that'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you follow along here at Sectator Media on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube, Sectator Media. Follow One Shining Recap on Twitter. We'll be back. Hopefully we'll have Matt back and have a full house on Monday night and talk about a great weekend of games and what we got coming up next week. But until then, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll see you.